Hi everyone, this is Trevor here. So I've been receiving a lot of requests that please make videos on dynamic programming. So I decided to cover up the ad coder series. So this is the first problem, and as gradually we move forward, I will be posting all the videos. You can expect me that within 2 months we will have all the ad coder problems in my ad coder series playlist. It will take time because I do work, so I find very less time. So the first problem in the ad coder series is the frog one. So the problem will give you n and some heights. So let me explain you what does the problem states. The problem states that there will be some frog at the first position and he wants to reach the last position. But then he's only allowed to make jumps till first or till the second. That means if he's standing at an index I, he can only jump to index plus 1, or he can jump to index plus 2. And whenever he jumps, the cost taken by it is a of I minus a of j, where j is the index to which it jumps, the absolute of it. Now, let's say he jumps from 10 to 30 and from 30 to 20. So the cost taken from 10 to 30 will be 20 because 30 minus 10 is 20. And then from 30 to 20 will be 10. So you can sum it up, that will give you 30. The other possible way is he jumps from 10 to 40 and then 40 to 20. So 10 to 40 will take a jump of 30, 40 to 20 will take a jump of 20. So the total jump is 50. So you got to find the minimum possible cost at which he can reach from the starting towards the end. So over here, the minimum possible cost is 30. So 30 is our answer. Now you might be thinking, okay, it's very easy. We can just greedily choose. Like from 10, if I wanted to jump till 30, it will cost me 20. From 10, if I wanted to jump till 40, it will cost me 30. So you will say that, okay, I will jump till 30. But then greedy fails. So they've given the third test case where the greedy approach fails. So let me explain that. So the third test case is this. Greedily, what you will do is from 30 will move to 10 because 30 to 10 will cost you 20, and from 30 to 60 it will cost you 30. So you'll prefer to move from 30 to 10. And then from 10, greedily will move to 10 because that will cost you 0. And from 10, again, greedily will move to 50. So the total cost encountered over here is 20, 0, 40, which costs you up to 60. But then, if you would have moved from 30 to 60, and then from 60 to 60, and then from 60 to 50, the cost would have been 30, 0, 10, which sums up to 40. So we figured out that using greedy approach doesn't work. So before starting this video, I'll highly recommend that you get back to my dynamic programming playlist and watch the videos over there to get a grasp over memoization, dynamic programming, recursion, and then come back over and start this ad coder DP series. So such kind of problems are solvable by dynamic programming. So how do you start off? So the first thing is you got to try all the possible combinations. So to try all the possible combination, what we need to do is we need to start from the first index. So let's do it. So let's start from the first index. Assume the first index is 0. So we start from the first index. We move to the first index from here, or else we can move to the second index. Because if I am trying all the possible combinations, from 0 I can either move to 1, or from 0 I can move to 2, right? I can move from 0 to 3 because that is not possible. We are said that we can either move plus 1 or plus 2. So from 1, where can you move? 1 can be moved to 2, and 1 can also move to 3. From 2, where can you move? From 2 you can move to 3, and 2 can move to 4. From 3, where can you move? 3 can move to 4, and 3 can directly move to 5. From 4, where can you move? That is still 5. Can it move to 6? No, that's not practically possible because our indexing starts at 0 and ends up at 5. So if I'm at 4, I can only go to 5, not to 6, because that is not possible. So I'll only move till 5. So from 4, where can you move? Again, till 5 only. From 3, where can you move? 4 and 5, both of them. From 2, where can you move? That is, one is 3, the other is 4. From 3, you can either move to 4 or you can either move to 5. From 4 again, you can only move to 5. That's not, the other one is not possible. That is 6. So once you have moved all the possible combination, in this way we can try all the possible combination. So that means from 0 I move to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5. From 0 I move to 1, to 2, to 3, then 3 to 5. So you can see this tree actually represent all the possible moves possible. Now we got to think about dynamic programming and something that optimizes this. Because if you're trying all the possible combinations at a bucket size of n, the complexity will be exponential, that is 2 to the power n. But that's not possible because n is of the range 10 to the power 5. So 2 to the power 10 to the power 5 will eventually bust your machine out. So what you do is you move, 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 move. So whenever you reach the end, you return a 0 from here because you've reached and you don't need any further cost. But you knew that from 4 to 5, the costing taken was 60 minus 50, that is 10. So over here you require 10 cost. So from here you will return 10, but the costing from 3 to 4 gets added. So what is that? 3 to 4 costs 50. So the total cost over here is 60 if you moved from 3 to 5. That is very obvious because we are moving from 3 to 5 in this direction. That is, you move from 3 to 4, that costs you 50, and from 4 to 5, that costs you 10. So eventually, that is nothing but 60. Now, what if you wanted to move from 3 to 5 directly? The cost would have been 40. So if you're standing at 3, which is the better way to go? Will you go from 3 to 4 to 5 or from 3 to 5? Obviously, you'll move directly from 3 to 5. So we have solved a sub problem where we know from 3 to reach till n, we require only 40. Now from 2 to 3, what is the cost? That is 50. So 50 plus 40 at this direction will give you 90. That's very obvious. That means from 2 you move to 3, that is, gives you 50. From 3, you know, the best thing is directly move. So that is nothing but 40. So 40 plus 50 will give you 90. Let's move in this direction. So from 4 to 5, the costing taken will be 10. So from 4 to 5, the costing taken was 10. So from 2 to 4, what will be the costing taken? That is 0 plus 10. So you write 10. So you know from 2 to 5, if you want to move, from 2 you will move to 4, costs 0. From 4 to 5, that costs 10. So total of 10. Now which is a better way to move from 2? So you can figure out that if it have moved from 2 to 3 and then from 3 to 5 directly, that is a expensive way because that took 90. So if you do not do that and you move from 2 to 4 and from 4 to 5, that will cost you 10. So that is a better way to go. So I will prefer this way. So I take 10. Now from 1 to 2, what is the costing? So if you see from 1 to 2, the costing is nothing but 50. So over here from 2 to 5, the costing taken was 10. So the total costing will be nothing but 60. So from this left, we get 60. Now let's check out what will be the other thing. So from 3 to 5, the costing taken will be 40. From 3 to 4, the costing taken will be 50. Now from 1 to 3, the costing was 0. Now which one will you take from 3? Again 40. So over here you take 40. Now which one is your minimum? So if you see, the minimum one is 40. So over here you get 40. Now that's very obvious. If you're standing at 1, you'll prefer to go to 3, that costs you 0. And from 3, you will try to go to 50, that costs you 40. So that is your total expenses. So from 0 to 1, what is your cost? 20. So 20 plus 40 will give you 60. So you know from 0, if you had to move till 10, that will cost you 20. From 10 to 10 will cost you another 0. From 10 to 50 will cost you 40. The total cost, if you move from 0 to 1, will be 60. That is the minimum one. Now, what if I moved in this direction? When you're solving this, now this technique is known as bottom-up DP because we're computing the bottom parts first and then moving up. So from 3 to 4, 4 will also move to 5. You can compute this in the similar way and you'll find something like this. So when you've computed the right subtree, you can see the right subtree gives you 40 and the left subtree gives you 60. So which is the better direction to proceed? So you have two ways from proceeding from 0. Either you move to 1 or you move to 2. So you can see that from 0 to 1, the total cost taken will be 60. And from 0 to 2, the total cost taken will be 40. If you want to move till the end, that is 5. So eventually, which one is the better path? You can see 40 is the better path. So 40 will be our answer. So this was about the logic. Now let's see how can we write the code. I've declared n and array as globally because I want them to be accessible to other functions too. So what I do is I take scene of n. and then I take the array as the input, and then I call the function of 0. Because what you can see over here is we started from 0. So if this is termed as index, the possible movements are index plus 1 and index plus 2. These are your possible movements. So I have called the index. Forget about the base cases. Now let's talk about the movements. So one of the movements is very obvious. That is towards the left. That means you move index plus 1. And what is the cost taken? So the cost taken from index plus 1 to 5 will be written by this function, because this is a bottom of recursion. And you know the cost from moving from index to index plus 1 is nothing but absolute of a of index minus a of index plus 1. So the total cost you know if you want to move to the left subtree. Now let's talk about the right subtree. So for the right subtree, you have to perform a check. Why? Because it might happen you're standing at 4 and you cannot jump till 6. If this check is satisfied, you can write the similar thing, that is call the function of index plus 2 and add the absolute value to it. And we saw that we were taking the minimum of left and right subtree. So you can easily take the minimum of left and right subtree. Now, what are your base conditions? Either you reach your endpoint. So if you've reached, you do not require any further cost. So you'll return 0. Now this condition is not required because you're already checking it over here, but still it's safe to write it. So let's return int max because we are doing a min. So that will never count to your answer because that's a maximum value. Now remember one thing, whenever you return int max, do take long because it might happen that you're doing a plus. So positive plus int max will not fit in int. So this is the recursive code. But then we know the recursive code complexity is 2 to the power n, which is exponential. And this is where memoization comes in. If you would have seen my previous video, I will memorize now so that the complexity boils down to linear. And let's see how can you memorize. What you need to do is you got to create a DP array, right? Of the same size. And at the next step, you initialize everything as -1. Once you have done that, before returning, simply plug in dp of index of this. And over here, if that state has been visited, you do were not equal to 1 and return that. I'll highly recommend that go back and watch my Fibonacci series program to understand how you convert a recursive code to dynamic, and then come back over and watch it. So once you have done that, we know the complexity will be linear because the parameter that is changing is index, and at max it can change to n. So the complexity will be O of n only. So why does DP work? Because if you add 2, you knew that you will require only 10 to reach till 5. You have already computed the cost that is required to reach till 5. So over here, you're again at 2. So why do you want to compute the answer again to reach from 2 to 5? You already have that stored. So this is where dynamic programming comes in. Basically reuse the values that you've already stored it. You can also see you've computed for 3. So this doesn't need to be pre-calculated. Similar over here, you've computed for 4. Doesn't need to be recalculated. So this is, if n is very large, you can see multiple sub problems. And this is the reason the complexity boils down to linear O of n, because at max, it will only visit the number of states. The other states are already stored, so it doesn't visit them. I hope you understood the dynamic programming approach. So just in case if you have understood, do not forget to press that red button at the beneath, right? Subscribe. And yes, do press the bell icon because you don't get notified whenever I post. So I'll get to know what am I posting. And do leave a comment about the feedbacks so that I can take in and improve myself. Thank you. Bye-bye.